Hi, I'm Joe Pindelski. I'm a member of the Institute for Advanced Theater Training at the American Repertory Theater, and I'm joined today by Mike Donahue, director of the Institute's upcoming production of Tennessee Williams' Stairs to the Roof. Mike, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Joe.
So, how did you first learn about this rather unknown early work at Tennessee Williams?
Sure, I actually read the play about a year ago. I was going to Sewanee, the University of the South, for residency to do a workshop to create a piece. And while we were there, we were on the Tennessee Williams Fellowship. While we were there, we were doing a workshop with the undergrads at the university on a production that they were doing of Stairs to the Roof. So I got the play for that, and I read it, and we did some work for a couple days with the students there, and I completely fell in love with the play.
What did you fall in love with about the play?
I was very excited about the play's sense of fantasy and hope and imagination. When I first read the play, I really responded to Williams' idea that this is a play about people who are trapped in cages, in economic cages, and that the play is about freeing people, liberating them, and there's a sense of hope there for a world that is suffering from an economic recession. So I was very excited about that at first, and since we've been rehearsing the play here, I've learned that it's sort of even more so than that about the liberation of the imagination and the spirit into a world of fantasy and possibility, that it's about freeing the individual impulse and creativity and passion, and that I think is thrilling.
Excellent. How does that world of Stairs to the Roof relate to other works by Tennessee Williams?
Sure. I mean, I think thematically it's very similar, but I think the form of it is quite different, actually. So that, you know, this is the last of his young works, and it's sort of maybe the only romance or comedy that Williams wrote, and it's not a grounded piece of psychological realism. It sort of takes place in a series of locations. Williams was really inspired by the Muni in St. Louis, which is this 11,000-seat outdoor theater that has huge spectacle. So he wanted to make a play that has enormous spectacle, and in the play there's a carnival scene with a Ferris wheel and hundreds of people on stage, and the play is constantly changing locations, and there are hundreds of people who come running, crashing on stage for like 30 seconds at a time and then disappear. The play sort of has a huge appetite for consuming experience, and the form of that reflects that. Structurally, it's very messy and chaotic and fractured, so I think that's quite different from most of Williams' mature work.
How are you going to translate that kind of mess and chaos into the Agassiz theater?
Sure. I mean, I think the idea is to treat the whole world, not just of this theater that we're in, but actually the entire building that we're in, as the world of the factory, and then the world that we break out of when we go into the sort of the night and the forest and the world of fantasy in the play. So I think that dynamically and energetically the play takes place all around us, that spatially we make full use of this entire room, and we're putting the audience on stage, which I don't know if you can quite see, but the room we're sitting in here right now, the audience is actually where we're staging the majority of the play. So the play is very athletic and playful and physical in its use of space, and takes place all around us, so that it's really a journey that we're going on with Ben, as opposed to, who's the protagonist of the play, as opposed to watching him experience this.
What's it like coming back to Harvard? You did your undergrad here, and now you're coming back as a director. What's it been like?
It's been great, because I found my 4 years here to be incredibly inspiring, and I have really fond, positive memories of being here. I felt like this was a place where I could really play and explore. The HRDC community here, because it's entirely student-produced and everything is sort of directed by students and created by them, there's an incredible freedom in that. And you can learn by doing and by failing and by pushing yourself to the extremes. And the ART really supports that energy. So I found amazing mentors while I was here, and incredible access to resources, and just a great sort of freedom to make stuff.
What's it like working with the Institute and the Institute actors?
It's been great, actually, because they're so totally game for this process. And they have great training, and they're really prepared, but they're just very open. And it's great, we were talking about this the other day, it's great to be making this play with an entire company of people who are young, because it's a very young work, and that youthful spirit is really important to activating the piece.
Mike Donahue, thank you so much.
Thank you.